Hi, I'm Junior with Keystone RV Center. Today we got Paul with us from Sunseeker. Paul, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do for Sunseeker.
Hello, my name is Paul, as stated. I'm a regional sales manager for Forest River Class C Division, Sunseekers. And I've been in the RV business for 20 years and 10 years of it with Forest River. Before that, I was with a different manufacturer.
Now, I've known Paul for the 15 years that I've been doing this, it feels like. But I mean, I even had you when I was with another dealership. You were still the rep that I was calling for the right answers at the right time on a great product. Now, I've liked the Sunseeker for a long time. Go into a little bit about the Sunseeker, because there's a bunch of Class C's out there and everybody thinks they're building it the best way. Tell me some of the reasons why you're building it your way and how it ties into when you look at the $1 million motorhomes when they're doing it that way too.
Right. Well, first of all, thank you for the comments and the compliments. In 2009, we redesigned the product, and we had great input from one of our biggest customers that's a rental customer. So our units are designed with more insulation. For instance, we use a 2-inch thick sidewall where some of our competition only uses 1.5 inches. These are on our gas Class A's, or Class C's, excuse me. We use a fiberglass roof versus the TPO roof that a lot of manufacturers are still using. We laminate our floor with a fiberglass underbelly, and part of the reason for this is fiberglass insulates better. Okay, with the 2-inch thick walls, we have more block foam insulation. So we also use a laminated slide room. So our slide rooms are basically built just like a sidewall. The top of the slide room is fiberglass, the bottom of the slide room is fiberglass, and it's all vacuum bonded together, so it's well insulated as well.
And it doesn't sound huge, but when you have something other than a fiberglass bottom to a slide room in a motorhome, and that slide comes out, and as a sales rep, I'm sitting there looking at a torn piece,
right,
the whole way across of some type of woven fabric.
Correct.
It's a bottomless pit fill, and as a sales guy, I can only imagine as a retail customer, because all I have to do is walk it over to the service department and go, "Here, guys, fix this." But again, built correctly.
Well, and we think so. The biggest motivation of that was the insulation factor. But yes, if the slide were for some reason to get hung up, the worst thing you're going to do is scratch the fiberglass,
yeah,
as opposed to tearing the composite material that some manufacturers use. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, you guys, you touched on the 2-inch sidewalls, and I just want to make sure that everybody understands that everything gets thicker. So in a normal trailer, you're dealing with 1.5 inches, which is what a lot of manufacturers that build motorhomes do. But let's be honest, we're not buying a $20,000 trailer. We're talking $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 units, especially when we start getting full body paints and things like that. I want it built right. I want it something other than the $20,000 trailer.
Well, thank you. And what we believe is we want educated customers, because if they really look at our units, the way they're built, and they look at the competition, and they look up underneath the slide, and they'll see what I'm talking about: fiberglass roof or underbellies. So an educated customer is a great customer for us, and that's part of why we're sitting here today.
Oh yeah, and that's why we're doing these videos. And from what I understand, Forest River is jumping on this as well, trying to educate more customers as well. That's stuff that we're seeing through several divisions right now in Forest River, with more information coming out.
We will be hitting the social media quite a bit harder than we have in the past. That's where we are in today's world. So I appreciate the opportunity here to get started on this. But there's a lot more to talk about. First of all, if you're looking at a Sunseeker gas motorhome Class C, we have an LE line. Do you mind if I expand on this? We have an LE line, and we have a classic line. So We sell a lot of both. The thought in the public's eyes are one of two things. I'm buying a camper. I don't need a bunch of bells and whistles. I just want it to be built properly, and I need everything I need to camp. I need a gray and black tank. I need a fresh water tank. I need a water pump. I need a furnace. I need an air conditioner. That is basically what our LE is. It's the base model, not a bunch of bells and whistles. However, it is built exactly like the Classic. It's got the 2-inch thick sidewalls. It's got the fiberglass roof that we've talked about. It's got the laminated slide rooms. It's got the one-piece seamless front cap. We did not skimp on the construction of the LE. We just didn't load it up.
Now, one thing I want to jump on the build there, the one-piece fiberglass caps. I know why you do it, but go ahead and elaborate on that, on why that's been a big thing in the Class C industry.
So, there's a couple things that the one-piece fiberglass front cap does for us. First of all, the main thing is it eliminates all your front-facing seams. So when you're going down the road, that front cap's getting wind pressure, and it's doing this. So over time, those seams will force themselves loose. They'll come loose. Yeah. So you have to maintain them, okay? And back in '99, just for instance, when I started selling Class Cs for a manufacturer, nobody had a one-piece fiberglass cap, all right? So you're gonna get less maintenance because the seams are on the sidewall. They're not wind bearing.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing, is to remove those front-facing seams. The other thing it does for us, a Class C wall, the cab over bed is all part of the same wall as the main wall. It's all vacuum bond laminated together. But when you've got that wall hanging out there over the cab and a wrap in the front, which is where those seams come from, as the motorhome goes down the road and torques, there's nothing holding those walls together. So once we put that cap on there, if you will, it holds those walls together.
Keeps pressure on it.
Which, for the longevity of the coach, you're going to get less rattles, going to keep the cabinetry tighter. So those are really the two main things that the fiberglass front cap does.
And I've had the privilege of trading customers in that have bought units from us 8-10 years ago and driving a unit that's been, and these guys use them quite a bit. And you don't have the rattles. I mean, I've got new Class C, I've driven new Class Cs that rattle more than your product 8 years old does. Now, the customer I'm specifically referring to, he does a lot of trips up into the northern climate, getting into Canada, and he does do at least one Alaska run a year. He continues to choose your product. Now, one of the things he loves about it is the airbags. But we were talking about the insulation value of being able to do that northern climate already, but touch on that airbag suspension that you guys do and why that's so crucial.
Okay, well, on the Classic version, we use the Firestone Ride airbags, okay? And what that does, motorhomes, when they're empty, you get like a box truck effect because there's no weight on the back, so the back end tends to bounce around. So the airbag is designed to give resistance to that coach bouncing up and down, so it's going to improve the ride. The second thing that the Firestone Ride Right system does, we have a 7,500 pound hitch on all E450s. Mm-hmm. So if you are going to tow something and you hook that trailer up to the back, it's going to sag, that back end's going to sit, okay? Well, when you do that, it takes some of the weight off the front tire, okay? Mm-hmm. That's why it's not sitting. So the second function of the Firestone Ride Right airbag is to bring that back end up to level. Now the unit, the coach, is riding on all 6 tires the way that Ford engineered that chassis to ride. So it's going to improve the ride, It's going to give you longer life on your tires. That's the other thing. If you don't have proper weight distribution, you're not only going to wander around the road, you're going to wear your tires out faster.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, along with the build and the construction, the way that you guys have been doing things for years and years, is there anything else that you wanted to touch on there real quick before we jump on to the next question?
Well, we do have a few exceptions because of space. Like some floor plans, we have a 24-foot motorhome with a bedroom slide. It's 2250. There's no room for heated enclosed tanks there. Okay. But for the most part, most of our models have heated enclosed tanks, which means it's a direct vent from the furnace to the compartment that has your dump valves. They're up in a compartment, and you can use those in the colder weather.
Yeah. And a lot of times what we'll see manufacturers do whenever they claim heated enclosed tanks is they're talking radiant heat, the heat that's produced from the piping surrounding the ductwork, not actually a direct flow duct.
Ours is a direct vent from the furnace. That vent only services that compartment.
And for customers concerned about the fact that, I'm not sure whether I'll have enough heat inside the coach. I'll tell you right now, we just got done doing sales training, and I think this morning was somewhere it was in the high 30s, maybe. It was like 36, 37. We turned the Ford ignition key on because we don't keep propane on the lot, but we turned the Ford ignition key on, turned the dash heat on, and we were in there for what, Mark, maybe 20 minutes? And Mark's nodding, he's not going to talk in this video, for about 20 minutes before we had to shut that dash heat off. And that coach was warm. I mean, we were in polo shirts again.
Yep.
That's awesome. Now, and we talked about this before we started doing the video as far as customer service. So let's jump into that one a little bit, because I think that's another thing that sets your company apart.
Well, thank you. We feel pretty good about that. The way our service is, first of all, we do have a service facility, but it's only used in emergency situations because we just don't have that many techs operating in the service department. However, what I do like about the support I get, we call it the back end of the business, the service side, is I'm a regional sales manager, which I've already introduced myself. We also have a regional warranty manager that talks to retail customers if needed. Now, the dealers are asked to do the gist of the work, but if a customer ever wants to talk to Forest River, there is a direct line that they can call. And the nice thing about that is, depending on what part of the United States you're in, you'll talk to the same person every time you call in.
So it's not going back to a switchboard and switching between 16 different people and I have to explain the situation all over.
Correct. It does go through a switchboard,
yeah.
but once you've talked to your customer service rep, then you'll call the switchboard and ask for them by name.
Which is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. One of the things that you said, and I complimented you on what you say, the customer satisfaction, your motto.
Customer satisfaction is our number one priority. You'll see that in our publications. You'll see it on our website. That comes from Pete Legal, our president.
And there's a lot I've been in sales and I've purchased enough things. I'm a consumer as well, and I've heard people say that line blindly, but there's a difference between a company that takes the time and go, hey, wouldn't it be nice if whenever somebody called in, they dealt with the same person every time?
Correct.
There's a difference between saying it aloud and actually taking time and thought and putting actions into place to build a company that truly means it. And I don't think you guys get enough credit for that. And I know you guys put it in your publication, but I'm telling you, talk to anybody that's owned a Sunseeker, and they'll tell you the same thing.
Well, and the last final thing on this point is that same customer service rep that talks to the end user, the final customer, the owner, he talks to the dealership as well if you have warranty claims. So what we find a lot of times is just miscommunication.
Yeah.
So The customer calls us, tells us their frustration, we'll get on the line with the dealer in their behalf to get it worked out.
Yeah.
And that's an awesome setup, that the same person is working with the dealer and with the customer.
Yeah, and that's absolutely awesome. So, what else about your product would you like to say to set yourself apart from the rest of the Class C industry?
Well, we're a top selling Class C, and I think if you come look at the things that we do different, the roof, the underbelly, the slides, which we've already talked about several times, and there's way more things that we do without doing a full walkthrough here. You know, we use 12 volt TVs versus 110 TVs. So you can watch a movie going down the road without your generator running, okay? Little things like that that the salesperson would present to the customer at the time of sale. But I just think overall we stand behind it. We're built well.
100% agree. And guys, we're going to try to get a walk around video up sometime in the future. Today's just not the best day with the weather not cooperating.
It's a little cold and rainy out there today.
Yeah, Mark's not going to have fun trying to hold an umbrella over top of the camera today. Well, for today, guys, I think that's going to be it. We will have Paul back in the area at some point. He is a little bit like Bigfoot. We know he exists, but it's difficult to catch him, and it's even more hard to get him on camera. But we got it today. So in the comments down below, for the next YouTube video we do, the next YouTube interview, or the walk around we do with Paul, please post your comments, questions you may have about the product, and we'll make sure that we ask them in the follow-up video that I'm sure we'll have to this. I don't think you're going anywhere. Right?
Absolutely. God willing, I'll be here.
Alrighty. Thank you so much for sitting down.
Appreciate the opportunity. Safe travels.
Have a great day. Make sure you like and subscribe.